Welcome to Radio Antioch. This video is an outreach of Antioch Tabernacle Ministries.
Going over to Luke chapter 12. Luke 12 says that someone in the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me." And Jesus replied, "Man, who appointed me as a judge or an arbiter between you?" And then he said to them, "Watch out. Be on your guard against all kinds of greed. A man's life does not consist of the abundance of his possessions." And he told them this parable. The ground of a certain rich man had produced a great crop. And he said to himself, "What shall I do? I have no more barns to fill it up with." And then he said, "This is what I'll do. I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. And I'll store all the grain up for a lot of years. And then when I've got years and years worth of food, I'll just take it easy and I'll eat and drink and be merry and just party." But God said to him, "You fool, this very night your life will be demanded of you. Who then will get what you have prepared for yourself? And this is how it will be for anyone who stores up things for himself, but is not rich toward God." Now, most of the people here tonight are rich toward God. Okay? But America is in some deep financial trouble because people bought things they couldn't pay for. Do you remember the houses that a lot of us who are older grew up in? Little 3-bedroom houses. And you can go to other parts of town that aren't as affluent and aren't as new. And you've got these houses and they're like 1,000 square feet, and yet families grow up there and are happy there, and they've got a big backyard and there's a big tree out back. And yet nobody wants to, when you see the young couples that are coming out of college, they go straight to the big box builder and buy a 3,000 square foot house. Now, you know, I've got a pretty good sized house, but I also had 4 kids that I wanted to have room for. But now I'm starting to think, well, maybe I could get a smaller house now that we're getting closer to that empty nest. But remember, a generation ago, you know, we didn't have 5 cars. We didn't have 4,000 square foot houses unless you were just stinking filthy rich. But now there's this mentality that people come out of college and are looking to buy a house, and you know they're looking to buy a house that is as big as their parents live in, and their parents, you know, spent 30 years getting there. Okay, but this is a mentality that America has. So this whole subprime mortgage thing comes from people buying houses they couldn't afford. And some greedy bankers figured out how to, you know, kind of shave the rules a little bit and write bank loans people really couldn't afford. So if anything goes wrong, they can't make the payment. Well, that started problem with the auto industry, started problems, you know, now you got retail sales closing down. Well, here's another thought. You know, they're always talking about how the economy is tough and retail sales are down and all that. Well, we've gotten in a habit where the stores all base their years on people going out with their credit card at the end of the year and buying stuff for a big Christmas. And I'm like, a lot of people are so far in debt, 3, 4, and 5 credit cards charged to the hilt, that they can't make their payments. Okay, so most of you I know are not like that. I know most of you pretty well, but here's a thought. America is in a lot of the trouble it's in, and we are affecting the rest of the world too, is because we have made money an idol. And you know what? If you've got money, God bless you. Give some of it to the church, give some to the poor, and then be blessed. Okay? I've been rich, I've been poor. Rich is slightly better, but I've been both. Okay? If you've got money, God bless you. But here's the thing: don't let it become an idol to you. Okay? Don't let it become an idol to you. And so these are some things I feel the Lord is saying when I prayed about what to say, not only to the group here, but to our internet audience. It's like, okay, what is God saying to America? Well, watch your idols, America, because I think we've been guilty of some idolatry, and all it takes is a downturn, and all these people are in deep financial trouble, and it's like a domino effect. Okay, first the auto industry, then financial things, and then you see all these retail stores closing, and it's all down to people who bought things that they couldn't really pay for. Okay, so I say that to you, so I said, let's be careful of our idolatry. So here's a goal I would propose to you. spend less of your life, your time, and your thoughts and your energy going after material things. Here's a thought. If you spend time with God, that's eternal. If you invest in other people, that lasts forever. Because if you make a difference in somebody's life, read in Matthew 25, God considers that an act of worship. If you do something for someone who's needy, okay, that's an act of worship to the Lord. All right, so one of the things I would challenge you is, okay, instead of being as focused on success and prosperity, maybe think, how much of my energy in my life goes for eternal things? Doing things with God or for other people. And that's something that, the church, I think, is a little out of balance, but not badly, but much of America is really out of balance, okay? They spend all of their time going after stuff, and how often do they really help anyone, you know what I'm saying? Or spend time with their God. So I would suggest that another goal for this year is to spend more time with your family. Try, if things are out of balance, adjust them. I struggle with it, trying to have time to do all the things that I do and still have time to be a good dad and husband. It's difficult. And, sometimes I have better weeks than others, as my family will tell you. But I would encourage you, another thought for this year is look at your time budget and your energy budget. If too much of your life and strength is going into chasing the paycheck, ask God about it. Okay, now guys, I've had a corporate job, and they can be life takers where they just suck all the strength out of you. But you can also push back on that a little bit and say, okay, here's what I can do, here's what I can't do. So that's back where that prayer of, Lord, give me something cool to turn in, give me an invention that can make this company some money, so that even though I'm not working 100 hours, every week, I at least am contributing, and they see that. Ask God to do that, because if you're asking for the right reason, He can give you witty inventions and ideas that will make you a better employee without having your life out of balance. Okay? So I say this because America's out of balance, but I throw that out for people to chew on. Friends, from our biblical heritage, it's right and proper for us to think about these things in the new year. And, I don't want to offend anybody. If you wrestle with your weight, I know I do. I have to watch it. I'm not trying to offend you, and I'm not necessarily talking to you, okay? What I am doing, however, is talking about things that when I prayed about this, I said, Lord, what are some things that people are wrestling with and need to make some changes? Well, so these are some of the ideas that came to my mind. But, you know what God is calling you to do, okay? I don't need to step on any toes, because God will get your attention if He wants you to change something in your life. But the reason I'm bringing these up is that a lot of the trouble, people say, oh, is the devil coming against America? No, our flesh is coming against America. Just like the analogy on the church, okay? You don't need the devil to come against America. We just got greedy and bought things that we couldn't pay for, and now we're in deep trouble. Well, okay, you don't need the devil to do that. That's just just good old-fashioned flesh, okay? So I say these things as a time of New Year, as a time of contemplation, a time of thinking, that, let's just take the time and knock the devil off our shoulder. Let's take the time and get rid of the idols. If money's been our idol, let's get rid of that stuff, and let's be better people this year. And that's just my challenge to you for a new year.
Thank you for joining us today on Radio Antioch. You can visit us on the web at www.antiochtabernacle.org. This video is made possible by the generous support of viewers like you. If Radio Antioch has been an encouragement to you, you can help support us by donating online on our website or by mailing to P.O. Box 741, Antioch, Illinois 60002. Donations are tax deductible in the United States. Thanks again, and may the Lord richly bless you.